Rocking a Neo Geo shirt today. Yeah, I already wore the Saturn shirt, so I'm gonna throw some SK love out there. Now, if you want to see a PS2 collection video, let me know. Drop a comment. Tell me that you want to see my shitty PS2 collection. And if I get over 5 comments, I'll do the video because that's a guaranteed 5 views. Oh, yeah. Now, the Saturn. Never got out of launch. I was like 8 years old at the time. There's no way my parents or anybody would spend $500 and give me a Sega Saturn. My cousin did get it at launch at Toys R Us. I remember finally he came early afternoon with a big ass Toys R Us bag, and boom, he had the Sega Saturn, and that was the first time I fell in love with it. So, Sega Saturn is my favorite console of all time. This video consists of mainly imports, Japanese games, probably like 93% Japanese games, not so many American games. I did grow up owning a lot of American games, but I got rid of them like a dumb little shithead that I was. A little stupid fat fuck. Now I have a few, very depressing, but at least I got a huge import library, right? That's great. So there's 2 games that I really love to own in my import collection. You know, before I start showing you guys the games that I own, I would love to own Batsugun and Elevator Action Returns. Those are 2 main games that I would love to own. Games that I don't have is Radiant Silvergun because my brother used to hoard the shit out of that game back in the day. I already own it on the 360 on the Xbox. I see no point of owning it on for my Sega Saturn collection. I was just sick and tired of it as a kid. He used to play that shit all the time. He'll go to his dorms, he'll be playing it. If he's home, I come home from school, he'll be playing it and blasting the soundtrack. And it's like, you know what, I'm a little burned out for Radiant Silvergun. I'm 31 years old, and that was what, like 20 years ago or more? In the Hunt. I remember Toys R Us was getting rid of In the Hunt. They were selling it for $5-10. That game was like absolutely, like, they just did not want this game, but it's crazy to see how much it is now. In the Hunt, the cover was a bit of a turnoff, but it is a true gem. Battle Garaga is another game I really don't care too much because I already have it on the PS4. It is a fine shoot 'em up. I used to own Blastwind import. I used to own that, and I regret giving it away to my brother. Shinryu is a pretty decent shoot 'em up. I would like to have that. I used to own that back then, especially as a kid. Skullfang. You know, Shinryu, the only reason why I bought it, so I went to a mom and pop shop over there in Main Street, and I just liked the cover, and I was like, hey, I want that game. And I played it, and like I said in my other video, I believe I said it, I was not too fond of shoot 'em ups as a kid. Was not very fond of shoot 'em ups. Now I appreciate them more, and then you know, I wish I had Shinryu. Skullfang, don't care too much. Sonic Wings, I would like to have. That's a very nice shoot 'em up. Soul Divine, Sengoku Blade, Psychic Assassin Taramaru. Now that goes for a pretty penny. That goes for a lot of money, and it's very underrated. A very rare gem. It is a great game. Anybody who owns that, I envy you. Hyperduel. Hyperduel goes for a lot of money as well. I would love to own that, but it's just too much. Night Striker is interesting. I would like to play that. I've never played it. I've seen gameplay on YouTube. I would like to own that on Saturn. And the other day I won an auction of Chase HQ with the spine card for $70. I've always wanted a Chase HQ Plus and so forth or whatever. I know it has a long title. Now, a lot of these import games, it does include some of the registration cards, the spine cards, and some games don't own it. I think I aim for games that I love and I'm passionate about with the spine card. But other than that, you will see that there's not a lot of spine cards and all that stuff, only for the games that I really care about. Now, let's get to the American games. We got Die Hard Arcade. By the way, everything's complete. House of the Dead. I remember being a little fat boy in my underwear with the gun just blasting zombies. It was like August. I believe I got this game. I didn't get this game at launch. I got it later on. And I was sweating my balls off playing this game, man. Like in the summertime. Wow. I was just sweating my balls off. We got Panzer Dragoon Saga. Yes. I actually had a copy when I was a kid. I got rid of it. But somehow I maintained this one. Because my cousin gave it to me for free, because that's a time where he didn't care about video games anymore. He's in his 40s, really don't care. So he gave it to me, And as a true parent, someone who cares about video games, I took care of it except for one thing. One thing. I did not keep the sleeves. I threw away the sleeves because I was paranoid of the disc being scratched. So I put them in slim jewel cases, which I regret greatly because I am an imbecile, a moron, and an idiot all at the same time. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Panzer Dragoon 2, one of my favorite Sega Saturn games. Love Panzer Dragoon 2. And for the story for Panzer Dragoon Saga, I like the RPG, but I don't think it's amazing. It's a pretty good RPG. You know, it tells a fine story, but regardless, I think it's slightly too overrated, at least for me. I know everyone praises it in every single Saturn video, because why? Because it's rare and it costs a lot of money, but it is a decent RPG. I'd rather play the rail shooters over it, but still, it's a good RPG. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. Street Fighter Alpha 2. Winter Heat. We got the first Panzer Dragoon. Darius Gaiden. Love to shoot 'em up. I have it Japanese as well. This is a great shoot 'em up. Now, I wish I had 5 copies of this. The condition of this is not all that. It's okay. I would definitely want an extra copy or 2, actually. This is one of my favorite Saturn games of all time. It's just the 2D sprites. You know, it's a beat 'em up mixed with RPG. It is fantastic. You have multiple paths. There's different multiple endings. You just have the whole shebang in one package, and it's just treasure at its finest. The soundtrack, everything about this game I love. I've always fell in love with this game since I was a kid. An amazing game altogether. A masterpiece from Treasure, in my opinion. People always mention Gunstar Heroes or whatever. No, I think of Guardian Heroes when I think of Treasure. Now we got Bust a Move 3. Something cracked there. That didn't sound good. The Cathlete. I remember I bought this. Well, I think was it me or my cousin bought it used at a mom and pop shop for $10. I never removed the sticker because I always wanted to remember that. Street Fighter Alpha. The first one. The ugly ass cover, dude. It's just ugly. Virtual Fighter Kids. See, very weak American collection. Very weak, but as long as I have Guardian Heroes, I don't care. Now let's get to the imports. KOF 95 in ghetto rapping with the Ram cart. I'm gonna get to the Ram cart. Watch, you hear this. X-Men vs Street Fighter, another one of my favorites on the Saturn. I remember I got some Christmas money. And my cousin will work in the city, so all the really good import shops are out there. So I gave him like 80, 90, 100 bucks. I think I gave him like 100 bucks, maybe 80, I think, to get me this. And he got me this. He came home. I was waiting for him all day just to have this, just to play this. I believe he already had it, and I was using his, but I wanted my own copy. And when he got home, man, I was so happy. I was like, oh my God. It was just an incredible feeling. And this X-Men vs Street Fighter was just something new, something different. It was like, holy shit, is this like growing up as an X-Men fan and a Street Fighter fan, just to see both of them colliding together is just sex on the beach for me. Yeah. And the whole switcheroo with the cart. Remember, you had your own import. I forgot that first cart's name. I don't remember. And then once the X-Men vs Street Fighter the screen was about to pop up, you had to do a switcheroo with the 4-meg card. And if you fucked up, you had to do it again. Shut off the console, turn it back on. So you had to do a couple of tries to get it right to finally play this masterpiece. Look at that. So passionate, right? Now we got House of the Dead, sealed. Japanese. We got Vampire Hunter. Shinobi on the Saturn was always okay. You know, obviously the Genesis and the arcade versions I think are much better than this. This was just okay. Pocket Fighter, Puzzle Fighter. Sega Rally. I don't have Daytona. I need to get Daytona. Sadly, I don't have Daytona. I need to get Daytona. Dynamite Deca, which pretty much is Die Hard Arcade. I love this cover though. This is an awesome cover. Had to get it on import. Even though I own an American, I don't care. I still want the import. Panzer Dragoon, the first one. Like, did I even mention that the soundtrack of that game series is my favorite all time? Panzer Dragoon soundtrack just had an excellent, it was just absolutely amazing. It just catches me all the time. Every time I hear it, I have it on my iTunes library. Every time, man, it gives me chills, goosebumps. Even talking about it gives me goosebumps. X-Men Children of the Atom. I remember I had that as a kid, American, and I don't, same goes for Marvel Superheroes. Man, do I even have Marvel Superheroes? I know I have a backup. I definitely have a backup. I don't know if I left more games back there. If anything, I'll drop a comment if I did. Street Fighter Collection. Gotta have Street Fighter Collection. I don't have the Capcom Generations. I don't own any of them. I really love to have 5, but it's quite pricey. I think 4 brought Mercs. That one I would like to have. I actually did own that one time. I gave it away to my brother because there was a stain on the manual. And I just can't keep... I just can't have a dirty game. It drives me crazy. I can't have that in my collection. That's how crazy I am. I just cannot have a dirty game in my collection. You have Knights here, which I showed off in the Dreamcast collection. Resident Evil. On the Saturn, we got Thunder Force Gold Pack 2. I believe that brings Thunder Force 3 and Lightning Force. I think the only reason why I bought it because I had Thunder Force 3. I could be wrong, I don't remember. Panzer Dragoon 2, Japanese. Vampire Savior. I have duplicates of this. I have duplicates of that. Panzer Dragoon 2, Japanese, and a lot of the fighting games. I have Virtua Fighter 2. Now, this is a double pack. Like I mentioned on the Dreamcast video, I had so many of these plastics, I just wanted to get rid of them, or at least use them for something, and I bundled it with a Street Fighter 03 and Marvel vs. Street Fighter right here. Now, if you want to play an excellent port of Street Fighter Alpha 3, do yourself a favor, you get the Saturn. That, or you get the PSP. Those two, in my opinion, are the best Street Fighter Alpha 3 ports. I don't care about the Dreamcast. I don't care about PS1. I don't care about that piece of shit Street Fighter collection on the PS4. Play Street Fighter Alpha 3 on the Sega Saturn. Now, we got Metal Slug. Metal Slug is my favorite of all time, of all Metal Slugs. Metal Slug, this one, out of the whole series, I prefer playing this one over the other ones. Now, we got Outlaws of the Lost Dynasty. I believe this was called Dark Legends or something like that in the States. I remember I had that one on the Saturn, and this was a decent fighting game. I believe there's a part 2, right? I don't own that. I just have that one. Dungeons and Dragons. I remember this one because my brother had it. You would play the shit out of it. I was blown away how beautiful the game is, the sprites and everything. I never played it in arcades, but I always wanted it on the Saturn. I bought it back in 2005, 2004 for $120. This was the most expensive game I owned in my collection at the time, and I finally owned it, and I played the shit out of it once it arrived for Japan. And that was good times, man. I remember I had to write out. I didn't have PayPal. I was doing money orders, and it was an international money order, and that thing took forever, but it arrived. I got this. Good stuff. Now you have the collections on the 360 and all that stuff, but whatever. Street Fighter 0 and Street Fighter 02. And as always, the Japanese games always had the best covers. They had amazing covers. I believe this is Assault Lanos 2 and Thunder Force 5. You gotta have Thunder Force 5 in your Sega Saturn collection. It is a must. We got Darius Gaiden and Galaxy Force 2 in the bundle bullshit plastic case. We got Gradius Collection. Deluxe Pack. Samurai Showdown 3. I don't know what happened to my Marvel Superheroes copy, import. I know I do have it. I definitely do have it. That's just bothering me. I'm just thinking of it too much. That cover is amazing. That Marvel Superheroes cover, it is absolutely amazing. We got Street Fighter the movie. Nights, Christmas. KOF 96. Fantastic soundtrack, especially Boss Team. Holy hell, especially Krauser. KOF 97. All that opera music. I don't know why I own this. Gale Racer. I don't even remember buying this. I don't know the story behind this. I don't know why I have it. I'm still thinking about Marvel Superheroes. Fatal Fury 3. The puzzle. Obviously not Pocket Fighter, but this is the puzzle one. We got the Last Bronx. Pretty good 3D fighter. Surprised they never brought that back. I don't know why. This is a really awesome wrestling game on the Saturn. Fire Wrestling, Fire Pro Wrestling, 6-man scramble. This was, I remember fondly of this, playing with my cousin, and I absolutely love this game. It was an extremely fun wrestling game. If you're a wrestling fan, if you're looking for something that's a wrestling game for the Saturn, this is it. Fire Pro Wrestling. There's going to be another one I'm going to show. This one is Twin B, I believe, the deluxe pack. Very nice cover. I always like that cover of this game. Now, Golden Axe. The Duel is the fighting game. And I remember this fondly because I remember my brother took me out that day. We went out walking to Toys R Us. And he bought this game for me as a kid. And I was, as a kid growing up, you always wanted to look up to your big brother and hang out with him and all that stuff. Man, I really didn't hang out with my brother much, but that day I remember because we went ahead and got a Golden Axe. Well, he got it for me. That was a nice, very, brother spending time together, family time, whatever you want to call it. Konami collection here. The classic old school games. We got Fighters Remix, Virtual Fighter Remix. This is another the wrestling game I was speaking about. This is in 3D. This brings Wolf and Jeffrey. Don't know the real name, but it says featuring Virtual. So this is really good. This is another wrestling game you guys need to have on the Saturn. We got Layer Section 1 and 2. Great shoot 'em up. Coming to an end, folks. Outrun, I definitely wanted a very good copy of Outrun. I made sure of it with the spine card. I'm not sure if it brings the registration card. Perhaps, maybe. But that's definitely in good condition. And Space Harrier. Space Harrier, I would love to own the sticks. But dude, that shit goes for so much money. But regardless, there you go. Some Sega classic games. I remember I have Afterburner 2 as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show off the rest of these games. I'm going to try to look for those damn games. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to look for those damn games because I know I have more games. That's bullshit. This one, I don't know the name, but it's another deluxe pack from Konami. Another collection of shoot 'em ups. Samurai Showdown 4. I made sure I had that complete. I always like Samurai Showdown 4. We got Real Bout. Fatal Fury, another one that I made sure I had complete. King of Fighters 96. Did I show 96? I guess I got multiple copies of it. Now, Fighting Vipers. Fighters Mega Mix. This is a game that I would love to own American because this was another one of my favorites on the Saturn. I really love this game. I remember going to Toys R Us. It was like $10. My godfather bought it for me. And just to see Virtual Fighter fight different characters, different series, fighting game series like Fighting Vipers was super cool. Just put so many hours into that. Grand Prix. Sound like a moron? This is a very underrated shoot 'em up. Definitely, I recommend you guys try that out. This is Sangaruko Garante. This is actually a pretty good shoot 'em up. I believe I was given this for free. I didn't buy this, but very underrated. Now give me a moment. I'll be back. Well, apparently, I don't know what happened to Marvel superheroes, but I do have a duplicate. I remember clearly that I did have a backup for sure. If we had this front camera, the autofocus sucks ass. Like I said, man, these covers were so excellent for these fighting games back then. They were totally awesome. I thought I had Afterburner too as well. I must have took some of those PlayStation games because I was putting away my PS1 games. Must be in that box or not or whatever. I don't know what the hell happened, but I most likely need to buy another copy of this. And I'll make sure I have the spine card. So there you go. This is the Sega Saturn collection, mine. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had fun doing this. This was my second video. This is the second time I'm doing this video. And I think this video came out much better. Besides me complaining and whining like a little girl about, where's my Marvel superheroes? But man, just seeing all these games, it brings a lot of memories from the 90s. Great times. And the Sega Saturn is the ultimate 2D machine next to the Neo Geo. You know, Neo Geo is #1. It takes the cake for 2D games. But when it came to the Sega Saturn, it did it excellent. It did it 100 times better than the PlayStation 1. I would not want to play any fighting games on the PlayStation 1. There's literally like no fighting games except for maybe Guilty Gear and anything that's 3D. But for 2D fighting games, you had the controller that was 6-button, which was excellent because that PS1 controller was a piece of shit. A piece of shit for fighting games. But overall, like I said, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun. Let me know if you want to see a PS2 video. If not, I'll take a nice break from doing this stuff. So regardless, appreciate your time. Expect some Yakuza 2 PC gameplay. Perhaps maybe today or tomorrow. But overall, you guys have a great day. The weekend is coming up. I hope you guys have a great weekend as well. Be safe and take care. Whoop!